Bedtime over here. And this segment is called Bedtime Story with Mrs. Kat. I have my snuggle Betty from Jesus above here. This is Lucille. You know Mrs. Kat has 7 kingdom kids? I do. So, as we get ready to start our story, oh, hold on. You see my friends? What time is it? It's time to choose our snuggle Betty. Oh, I'm so excited. Yes. Lucille chose her snuggle Betty. Look. That's her snuggle Betty. And I'm going to choose one of Lucille's snuggle Betties, Miss Jellybeans. Here's Miss Jellybeans. So this is my snuggle Betty. Miss Lucille has her snuggle Betty. Do you have your snuggle Betty? All right. Well, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to go get your snuggle Betty. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, I'm snug in my bed and I'm ready to read our story tonight. So let's get started. The Berenstain Bears Go to Camp by Stan and Jan Berenstain. It's vacation time. Hooray, hooray! Let's spend it outdoors. Let's get away. It was the last day of school and the beginning of vacation. That wonderful time when little bears could sit around doing absolutely nothing. Brother Bear and Sister Bear shouted goodbye to Teacher Jane and hopped onto the bus for the happy trip home. Well, asked Mama Bear after a day or so of vacation, are you enjoying sitting around doing nothing? It's great, said Sister. Absolutely, said Brother. There's just one trouble with it, added Sister. There's nothing to do. Here, take a look at this, said Mama, as she reached for something that had come in the mail. This is what it looked like. Tired of sitting around and doing nothing? Come to Grizzly Bob's Day Camp. Summer fun for cubs of all ages. There's swimming, canoeing, arts and crafts, sports and games, nature study, fully supervised by Mr. Bob. And don't forget our exciting overnight campfire, powwow, and sleepout. Some of the things looked interesting, but Brother wondered what fully supervised meant. And Sister wasn't so sure about that overnight sleepout. It sounded a little scary. Where is this camp? Asked Sister. Not far, answered Mama. How will we get there? Brother wanted to know. A bus comes for you in the morning and brings you home in the afternoon. Sounds a little like school, said Brother. We'll think about it, said the cubs, and went back to doing nothing. Well, not exactly nothing. They picked a few wildflowers, chased a few butterflies, turned over a few rocks, and thought about it. Mama, could we try Grizzly Bob's Day Camp just to see if we like it? They asked. Of course, said Mama. A couple of mornings later, brother and sister were in camp shorts and t-shirts, all ready and waiting when the bus came. It didn't look much like the school bus. Grizzly Bob's Day Camp. And Grizzly Bob didn't look much like Teacher Jane. And the camp didn't look anything like school. Grizzly Bob had built his camp beside a lake at the edge of the forest. There were log buildings, a flagpole flying the camp flag, a big bulletin board with the camp rules. There certainly were a lot of rules, some interesting paths, a roped-in place to swim. There was even a big red canoe. Bob had made name tags for the cubs. You're camp mates now, so you better get to know each other, he said. Then he took them on the tour of the camp. There was an office with a desk where he did his paperwork and a first aid corner full of bandages and things for cuts and bruises. There was a rec hall to go into when it rained. Rec was short for recreation. There was a picnic place and a barbecue pit where they roasted hot dogs for lunch. Sister burned hers a little, but she traded with another cub who liked burned hot dogs. Bob announced that after lunch they would all climb up Spook Hill to the very top of Skull Rock, the special place where they would have their end of camp powwow and sleepout. It was quite a climb. That evening, Mama and Papa Bear were eager to know how the cubs liked camp. It was okay, said Brother, but there sure are a lot of rules. It was all right, agreed Sister. They sure have plenty of bandages and sticky stuff for cuts. But what they both were thinking about was Skull Rock and that end of camp sleepout, especially Sister. The second day was different. Brother had a great day. He passed the swimming test and was allowed to ride in the canoe. Sister didn't have such a good day. She played dodgeball and some of the cubs threw pretty hard. The third day, Sister had fun. She got a star for birch picture frame she made in arts and craft, but Brother hurt his knee in the wheelbarrow race. The fourth day, both of them had fun. And every day after that. So much fun that they forgot about Skull Rock and the sleepout. Almost. Papa found the sleeping bags that he and Mama had used on their honeymoon. And when the camp bus came on the morning of the big night, Brother and Sister were ready. Sort of. The climb up Spook Hill wasn't so hard this time, even with backpacks. The cubs were strong and tough from their summer of camping. Tomorrow would be field day, the last day of camp, when their parents would come to watch their games and contests and see awards given out. But for now, all the cubs could think about was the big sleep out. It was just beginning to get dark when they reached Skull Rock. Grizzly Bob built a campfire. Then he went into a small cave. When he came out, he was dressed in a beautiful Indian costume. Then the cubs sat in a semicircle and the powwow began. After the powwow, they had cocoa and honey bread. Then they curled up in their sleeping bags. As soon as they were all fast asleep, even Sister. The next day, Brother and Sister did very well in the field day games and contests. Brother won a trophy for finishing second in the dash, and sister got medals for the Dead Bears float and for her dead belt. It was almost the end of summer. School would be starting in a couple of weeks. "Well," asked Papa, "how did you like camp?" "It was great," said Brother, hugging his trophy. "It was great," agreed Sister, wearing her medals proudly. "But you know something? After Grizzly Bob's day camp, school will be like a vacation." Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Zechariah chapter 4, verse 10. Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word, in manner of living, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity. 1 Timothy 4 and 12. Well, friends, that was a wonderful story. Mrs. Cat is tired, but before we go to sleep, did you enjoy the story? That's good. Can you tell Mommy and Daddy who the main characters were in this story? Very good. Did they solve the problem in this story? Good. If they did, what was the solution? What did they agree upon to fix or solve the problem? Very good. Well, I couldn't go without letting you know that my very own snuggle buddy is in bed. You want to see? Okay. Well, Miss Cat's going to her bed. I'm nice and warm. And I will see you next time at Bedtime Stories with Miss Cat. Okay? Good night. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Good night.